Happy Monday. Welcome back to Mets Daily. I'm your host, Jake Brown at Jake Brown Live. Smash that thumbs up right now on the video below. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that share. Follow me at Jake Brown Live. Please subscribe to my YouTube as well. We're on the road to 400 subscribers on my YouTube. So go subscribe there at Jake Brown Live. Just type that in. We appreciate it. And scan that to become a Mets Daily Insider member. New week. Lots of news, lots of rumors, lots of scoops, lots to get into on today's show. We'll also read back some of your comments from Friday's Mets Daily. So please keep on commenting below. And if your comment's good enough, and please, before you comment, check like the punctuation and spelling. Some people will comment and it's like not in English or it just makes no sense. So just double check the comment. I don't want to have to read through a bunch of mumbo jumbo. So that's all I ask. Love the comments, love the feedback, love your support. Someone emailed me the other day, asked how they could support. Thank you to you for sending me that. So, again, you guys could contact me on any platform and ask how to support. I do appreciate that. It means a lot to me. All right, let's go. It's a Monday, and the latest news is this. Tatsuya Emi is going to be posted from Japan. He'll have 45 days to sign, and if he doesn't sign, he'll go back, and he's going to sign. He's touted as the number one pitcher out of Japan. He is expected to get a massive deal to the point that he has named Scott Boras his agent. He's expected to be right there for Amber Valdez, Dylan Cease at the top of the free agent market, which has to make you wonder, should the Mets go after him? And I think the answer is yes. You saw what Yamamoto meant to the Dodgers and what he was able to do. I mean, Yamamoto single-handedly in that World Series got them that ring. And if Emi could come over here and be as dominant as Yamamoto has looked, you have to consider signing him no matter what the cost. And I think the Mets have to be in the running for this guy. He has put up significantly good numbers year after year in Japan. He's 27 years old. He has pitched over there for 9 seasons for Seibu in Japan. And he's coming off a year where he was filthy. Absolutely filthy. 163 innings, just 101 hits, striking out 178, an ERA of 2.09 over 24 games. This guy's legit. 5 complete games as well. I mean, you look at his numbers. I'm not going to go year after year, but just go look at his numbers and do a deep dive. And every year, this guy is filthy good, strikes out a bunch, and it seems like he's gotten better as his career's gone on. And I like that he has a bunch of experience. You know, he's pitched for almost a decade over in Japan. He's still in his prime at 27. He'll be 28 on May 9th, so it'll be his 28th season next year. You know, I think you got to consider not a 12-year deal, but it might take a 7 or 8-year deal to get him, and I think the Mets certainly should be in the running. Now, maybe that means they try and trade Kodai Senga, or they have both of them, but if you're the Mets, you have got to be calling. Now, the issue, again, is Scott Boras. That's going to be the tough part. And speaking of Scott Boras, that brings us to the next Scott Boras client, and that's Pete Alonso. And our guy, Pat Ragazzo, put out a story on Friday about what an NL rival scout said and what it looks like the Mets offseason plans could be. And yes, not signing Pete Alonso is on the Mets plans. And Bob Nightingale of USA Today put out there today as well, unless the Mets are blown away in terms of an offer they can't refuse, it's looking more and more like the Mets' plan is to let Pete Alonso go. And I know the Red Sox have been named as a team that could be in it. Great. Get him the American League. Have him beat up the Yankees, and we don't have to face them. I think the Red Sox would be the perfect spot because Mets fans for Red Sox. I think the Red Sox are a lot of Met fans, AL team. And if you could watch Pete on the Red Sox, a team that you probably root for, to beat the Yankees, that'd be awesome. You get to still root for Pete. He may not be a Met. Everybody wins in the end. You can watch him beat the Yankees for the next 5 or 6 years. I've said this over and over. The Mets' plan should be moving on from Pete Alonso. And I know emotionally it's going to hurt a lot of you. You're not going to be happy. But that's the reality. The core has to be shaken up. And you could name everyone else. They're under contract. McNeil, Alonso are the core pieces of this team, have been part of the losing ways for a long time here, are both out of town this offseason. And I've said that since the season started. I said, let Pete walk, get the hell McNeil off the team, and build up a new core. And Ragazzo also mentioned that the Mets would have interest in Cody Bellinger. And I said, yeah, you probably should have interest. You be wary of his stats where he's Jekyll and Hyde, but Cody Bellinger's a guy that fits what the Mets need. He plays first. He can play center. He can play left. He has positional flexibility, and first and center are the two positions of need for the New York Mets, and Bellinger can play both of those. So if Carson Bench comes up and he's a stud, and if you don't trade him, he plays center, you play Bellinger at first. Gives you a lot of options. That's why Yandy Diaz is perfect if he's on the trade market as well. If the Mets can sign Cody Bellinger and then trade for $12 million, Yandy Diaz, very cheap, get rid of McNeil. Yandy Diaz can be your first baseman for now, and then if he's here 2 years, he can be your DH. If Bench comes up, you move Bellinger to first, you DH Yandy Diaz, or you play Yandy at third and DH Beatty. However you got to work it. But the Mets are focused on flexibility here, and Pete Alonso gives them zero flexibility. He is really a DH. He wants to play first, though. The guy has an ego. He likes playing the infield. He never sits out a game. He never really is a DH. He always likes to be out there at least 160 times at first base. You know, he's going to have to come to the realization he's going to be a DH, but I don't think he wants a DH yet. And for the Mets, Alonso hurt them defensively. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. He is not a good defensive player. And because of the lack of flexibility with Alonso, why are you going to keep him around 30+ million just to appeal to the fans? If you win, the fans will show up. If you're just showing up for Pete Alonso, I'm not convinced you're a Met fan. I'm not convinced you're a diehard. I get it. He's a likable player. I understand it. But I think I've told you, David Stearns, Alonso is not the kind of Stearns player, and I completely understand it. You want positional flexibility, youth, speed, defense. Alonso gives you power. He gives you some hitting. That's about it. He gives you no base running and no defense. So if you're the Mets, you got what you liked out of Pete. You missed the playoffs. You move on from the core. And as much as part of that core is Brandon Nimmo, as much as I would move on from Nimmo, that contract is an albatross. You cannot. And you're not eating $50 million because the Mets have to use every dollar to commit to this team because they have to go spend $340, $350 again. You know, yeah, the franchise lost money overall, but they did get $300 million plus when it comes to attendance and what they made from the ballpark. So I think Steve Cohen is embarrassed from what the team did this year, and he should be. And he's going to be scorched earth. Mets are going to have a big offseason. Nightingale wrote also about the Mets probably going out to get 2 frontline starters. Maybe Emi is one, Cease is the other. Maybe you're trading for Skubal and you're signing Emi or Cease or someone else. But the Mets are going to have a big offseason, and I know it doesn't look like that right now, but they will. And Pete Alonso being gone is not going to crush this team. They will be just fine. Now, so far, the Mets have made pretty much fringe moves, and they made another one today, signing infielder/outfielder. He's played pretty much every position. Jose Rojas to a minor league deal. Now, this is an intriguing move because of this. Rojas led AAA in home runs with 32 for the Yankees Scranton Wilkes-Barre in 2025. So this is a guy that has only had a cup of coffee, really, in the big leagues, and it's been a while for him. You know, he's not been in the big league since 2022. He's 2021 and 2022 for the Angels. He had 6 homers and 15 RBIs 2021 in 61 games, and no homers, 1 RBI 2022. But, you know, really coming off a monster season in AAA, and I think the Mets looked at, hey, maybe this could be lightning in the bottle kind of AAA guy. And again, positional flexibility. A guy that played pretty sure he played every position outside of, this is a guy who's played first base, second base, third base, left field, right field. So the only positions he hasn't played are center field and shortstop. So this is a guy you can move around the diamond. He's played the most games at third, second most games at first, third most at second, and then left and right. So he plays everywhere. So if you need this guy in a pinch, he's got power, he's got some pop, and maybe he's some kind of lightning in a bottle. Now, he'll be 33 years old in February, so not exactly in his prime, but an intriguing guy to pick up. A left-hand hitter, throws right, plays a bunch of positions. So we'll see if Rojas gets a shot at any point, but right now he will be in AAA for the Mets, a minor league deal, prorated deal if he makes the majors. So Emi has posted, Alonso looking more and more like he could be gone. Cody Bellinger on the Mets' radar. You know, we'll talk about Ketel Marte this week. Reports that maybe the D-back try and trade him, which is a name I've mentioned that I'd be all in on. If you're not getting Bo Bichette at second, get me Ketel Marte. My third option is Brandon Lau, but Ketel Marte would be probably one on the trade market. One on free agency would be Bo Bichette. So, again, we got every day to talk about that, and we will do that. Let's get to your comments from Friday's show, everybody. Make sure you keep commenting below. Keep sharing the channel, subscribing, thumbs up, and let's go. From @StrikeBlitz on Friday's Mets Daily Show on YouTube. Again, you can subscribe on Apple and Spotify if you're an audio person as well. YouTube is where you see everything, and we'll read the comments. Strike Blitz says, I think Naylor would be such a great fit for the team. He's a clubhouse leader, great attitude, and knows what it takes to win. Sleeper move of the offseason, Adley Rushman for Francisco Alvarez straight up. Yeah, interesting comments there, Strike Blitz. I've mentioned Naylor. I would love Josh Naylor if you can get him. Clubhouse leader, good in the playoffs, good attitude, knows what it takes to win. The Mets are trying to bring in winning players. McNeil and Alonso are losers. Say what you want about them, they're losers. They've been to the playoffs twice. 2024 was not really on them. It was on everyone else that carried the Mets there. So these guys are perennial losers. The Mets need to bring in perennial winners. Cody Bellinger's a winner. Knows what it takes to play in New York. Josh Naylor's a winner. He's won in Cleveland. Just won in Seattle. He is a winning player. So, yeah, I would like him. Adley Rushman for Francisco Alvarez. I'm not against that. I mean, Rushman, I think, is a healthier player. I'm not convinced the Mets would do that. I think if the Mets traded Alvarez in a package, maybe Rushman comes separately. I wouldn't lose sleep. I'll say that. I would not be mad. I would not celebrate, but I would not be mad if the Mets traded Alvarez for Rushman. But I don't think that's going to happen. From Buddha approved, need to sign Alonso and Diaz. They should be Mets for life, as we've talked about. I think Diaz, we're going to continue to talk about. The Mets are going to do what they can to keep him. I don't think Alonso's coming back. From Luis Vencer de Bello, I was looking at Juan's record. I don't like the idea of Juan Bay either unless the Mets want to negotiate later. Yeah, I mean, again, this is going to be a minor leaguer, and I'm sure at some point they cut bait. Frank Major and keep Pete. Yeah, I don't think Pete's coming back, guys. And the more and more you hear, the more and more you feel this offseason out. It feels last year the Mets were able to afford waiting around for Alonso. They can't afford to do that. There's too many names out. The Mets aren't waiting till February on a Pete Alonso decision. To be honest, I think by after the winter meetings, if Alonso's mind isn't made up yet, the Mets are moving on. And they're either trading for Yandy Diaz, they're trying to shine Josh Naylor. The Mets are going to be proactive in going out there and getting a first baseman. They're not waiting anymore. So let Pete sign with the Red Sox or elsewhere. Mets ain't waiting around for him. They'll bring him back if it's a friendly deal that makes sense. They're not writing a blank check for Pete Alonso. And as soon as you can stomach that, if you're an Alonso fan, a Met fan, the sooner you'll come to the reality that he's probably not going to be in a Mets uniform anymore. From Nezzy765, need to keep Diaz. I agree. From Shakamoto, forgot to mention on Thursday's vid, Bay is an abuser and egomaniac. The definition of clubhouse cancer. I'm worried about him. Hopefully there's a tryout situation where they're adding spring training depth and ready to cut bait when necessary. No one respects him in Asia. For what it's worth, he's a joke and a danger. Well, good to know from Shakamoto, Japanese baseball, our Mets Daily Insider. Yeah, he's, that's good to know. I don't know about the egomaniac clubhouse cancer, but if that's what they say about him, that's not good. And yeah, I don't think Juwan Bay is going to be part of the Mets' major league plans. Dumpster diving continues from Luis Bonilla. Michael Goodwin, Mets haven't changed. Still up to these same cheap moves. Frank Major said, I agree. Strike Blitz said, Fairbanks' option was declined by the Rays. Okay, so I might have misspoke the other day. I think I said he declined the option. The Rays declined Fairbanks' option. I thought I said that. Maybe I didn't. Yeah, I mean, Pete Fairbanks, if you can get him to be your setup man and you have Minter, Fairbanks, Raley, Diaz, you're talking about elite bullpen. Would love if the Mets could do that. I have a feeling Fairbanks wants to close, though, and if the Mets bring back Diaz, Fairbanks would be out as closer. Keep commenting below, folks. We got a lot to get into today. We'll talk more Bellinger. We'll talk more Ketel Marte. We'll talk more Imai, Akamoto, Murakami. Lots happening in Mets world. Lots happening on the hot stove. Let us know who you want. Keep subscribing. Keep smashing that thumbs up. And please keep following me, subscribing to my YouTube at Jake Brown Live. And please go follow Fantasy Loser HQ now on Instagram, TikTok, and X. Please go follow us. I'm doing a lot of social for them. Appreciate your support, everyone. And we'll talk to you tomorrow on Veterans Day tomorrow. Shout out to all the veterans out there. Thanks for watching Mets Daily, everybody. Let's go, Mets.